Now, while some of the questioning focuses on the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, others focus on Title IX.
But the law actually operates differently, I think, for cisgender women and transgender women. That is, with respect to their desire to play on a team that matches their gender identity, cisgender women can do it, transgender women cannot. And so we do appreciate a distinction, I think, that is being drawn on the basis of your gender status, gender identity status, trans or cis, right?
So, and I want to make sure I understand
Yes.
if we're operating in Title IX world or equal protection world, because I think it might make a difference to the answer. But
Okay. Let's start with Title IX.
So Title IX, I think the question of, I look at this statute and see a distinction between boy and girl indifferent to gender identity. And I think that...
Right, but I'm testing that proposition, right?
In other words, Justice Jackson is testing the language of Title IX, most likely to find a way around its simple language. No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subject to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Justice Thomas asked the attorney for West Virginia the same question, a bit more directly.
What's your view of with Title IX, how it defined the separated sexes, male and female?
So under Title IX, Your Honor, we would look to the ordinary understanding of sex at the time that Title IX was passed, 1972, and I think also relevant would be 1974 when the Javits Amendment was passed. And at that time, the ordinary understanding of sex was biological sex, consistent with the understanding of sex reflected in West Virginia's statute. I think that's also consistent, frankly, with this court's own understanding of sex and some of its own cases like Frontiera, where it likewise focused on things like reproductive function.
Remember, Title IX does not prohibit discrimination based on gender or even gender identity, only sex, which I've already defined. Recognizing this, Justice Alito asked a very pertinent question.
Title IX prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex. It's a statutory term. It must mean something. You're arguing that here there's discrimination on the basis of sex. And how can we decide that question without knowing what sex means in Title IX? I mean, it could mean biological sex. It could mean gender identity. It could mean whatever a state wants to define it to mean. But it has to mean something. How can we decide that without knowing what the statutory term means?
Well, I think there are a whole range of sex-based characteristics that can give rise to discrimination. I think if someone said, I'm going to discriminate against anyone who acts in a feminine manner, like anyone with limp wrists, I don't care who they are, but I'm going to discriminate against them. Like, I think that would be sex discrimination. It would be sort of gender presentation. But I wouldn't say that's not covered by Title IX.
Again, Mr. Block represents the West Virginia respondents, those trying to get boys on girls' teams. Notice how he dodges the question, ignoring the West Virginia law's focus on sports, and instead claiming a person's mannerism is equivalent to sex.